when we met, you just started going into the different facts about gaming, one of which is the amount of money that is spent. I know that's just a small piece, but it was astonishing to me. I had no idea. Can we start with that? Because maybe even gamers may not even know this.
Yeah, gaming, it makes more than any kind of media combined. It makes more than movies, music, and sports combined on a multiplicative level.
Wow.
Is that insane?
It is.
Football, baseball,
everything.
All of it added up, plus movies.
Everything.
Oh my God.
Is that just because of the sales of games, or is that also because of all of the like competitions and things people have in gaming?
Well, if you think about the accessibility to each one, gaming is accessible to every single man out there. Depending on, where you look, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a household with a console in it or a desktop computer or a laptop.
Yeah.
Something that's going to make it super accessible for men to game. And with the monetization practices that go on with modern gaming today, we're getting much further away from buy it once and be gone.
Oh.
And now we're on to live service, and this is kind of falling into a more a greedy society with gaming. And a lot of these companies, they want more money than effort that they put in. It's not as commiserate as it used to be. But we're seeing now that money is being spent more frequently on the same games as we go on, rather than buy once and then simply have the game, own it. And now they're getting into licensure, and you don't actually own the game. Now you're just going to license the game. So it gets greedy and finicky as you go deeper into it.
And the crazy thing is, obviously, from what you said, people do it. They continue to do it. Something else that really stood out, what you just said, I don't know if it stood out as much when we met, but you just said men probably 3 times. Why is that? I know there's some women, obviously, that play, but why'd you focus so much on men? What's that about?
By and large, the largest demographic of people playing video games is men, at like a 98%.
98
ratio between guys and girls. I mean, you'll find a girl
something
every now and then.
Huh?
Yeah.
But why?
And I think a lot of that is kind of what I was getting to was a lot of men are looking for something that they can accomplish, something that they can start and finish in a reasonable amount of time, and have the goals set in front of them that are clearly distinguished by a third party, whatever it may be, gaming in this instance, whatever game they're playing, and be able to finish it. And that inherently speaks to what makes us men, is that we want to feel like we can accomplish something in a sit-down period of time.
The trick is the shell game here, the cloaked payoff is that you don't actually finish, really, do you? Like, we want to finish, and then
kind of depends on the game, right?
I guess.
And that's kind of the lie. I mean, you can classify video games as whatever you want. A lot of people can say, well, it's a waste of time. And, well, you could say that about any hobby, really.
Sure.
In a way, I can agree that it is a waste of time, just like a lot of other things. And it really stems from a place of, this is something that I'm choosing to spend my free time on. This is something that billions, not millions, billions of men around the world daily choose to spend their time on. And it's just where the world is right now. I feel like the world has done such a good job at suppressing masculinity, at suppressing the things that make men feel purpose to go out and do these things. So the next easiest thing to get purpose and fulfillment out of is to go to video games. It's to go to these things that provide them with that gratification of accomplishment, of finishing something.
Man, what we've already said is amazing to me about talking about gaming and men's needs and fulfillment. Like that, keep talking, because this is amazing. So men typically, there can be a payoff, but the trick is that, I think, is where, when there's not, if you lose, if that's the payoff that you were hoping for, and of course it is, everybody wants to win, nobody's there to lose, then you start over. And that's where the 1.5 hour game, I presume, turns into a 4 hour game, or you do 3.
In a way, it's hard because it's a generational thing that isn't necessarily, and this is me calling you old.
Okay.
But,
yeah. No. Hey, you know what? Let me say something real quick. So I grew up with Pong and Centipede and stuff like that. And tell you the truth, like you, I played a lot of sports. So I think we'll get to that, but it's a very interesting part of your story too. It's not like you just spent all night and day and every weekend in the basement. You did other things, and I can't wait to unwrap that with you. But that's what I was doing. And tell you the truth, if I would have gotten out of it, what a lot of people get out of gaming, I might have done it, but it just didn't flick my switches. Right. Other stuff did.
Right.
And so because I'm old, what? I'm good with that.
I think a lot of the reason and why guys get into gaming as a whole is kind of like what I stated before, is that they feel like this is something that they can latch onto, rather than going out into the real world, where the real world tells them that they're dumb for being men, and there's a definite attack on masculinity in modern day society, especially against Christian young men. And they tell you that you're wrong in every venue for who you are and what you're doing, and so they can go on, to gaming and do, whatever it is they choose to do. And I get the idea of, well, you accomplish something by finishing the game, but in reality, a lot of the games that we're playing nowadays, they don't have a start and a finish necessarily. It's more of just a continuous hang out with your friends. It's something to just find community in, or just, spill your creative energy into and still get enjoyment out of it with that sense of accomplishment tacked on top.
Yeah. So the men that are built for purpose, for drive, for accomplishment, it's a great hijack, and it can be in a good sense to get some of that fulfillment. But I think talk to me about when it takes over, where it's not fulfilling, just like anything that is abused in essence. And if it's abused, it's probably taken over, and it's doing things to your time and your money and your mind and your body in senses that you didn't really sign up for.
Yeah, and I think gaming is probably one of the least acknowledged addictions, and I'll call it an addiction because that's what it is. Not for everybody, just for those who let it get too far, like you're saying, because gaming is something that somebody can say is, in history, it's been, demonized in a lot of ways. It's nerdy, even people who play video games, whenever somebody says, oh, you're a gamer, there's a negative connotation with that immediately. Right.
Is it though? I mean, you tell me.
It can be.
And like in the mass circles, maybe, huh? Like the large.
Yeah, and
kind of like culture, maybe
what you were saying before about how it can turn into an addiction really quickly.
Okay,
is when you do have, and this is something I'll start with the curative and then kind of go into how it is the problem. Okay, is I fixed this problem for me by filling my life with responsibilities, filling my life with things that kept me accountable, that didn't allow me to sit there and do these things. Right.
Okay,
I went out and I had what I call my sacrificial period. Right.
Okay,
where I said no more of this. I put it down for 3 years flat. I said, no more of this. We're not doing this anymore. I'm going to go and change my life in every way that I can find.